Hey everyone, welcome into Siren Records Monterey. It's Fresh Catch Friday. If you're new here, hi, welcome in. Every Friday we talk about some of the new releases, reissues, and represses that have come out on vinyl for the week or in recent weeks and have just made their way in. We have a lot to get through today, so I'm going to give you as much information as quick as I can. And yeah, I would love to have a better chit chat, but we're just going to keep it all business today. And I think that I've solved my problem of that shit show last week when everything was falling over. So let's try it again, shall we? And see if we can manage to keep everything sane. I'm going to post a list down below that has everything in kind of reasonably alphabetical order that we're going through with prices. Now, you may notice that there's a couple of things missing that are on the list, but I'm not talking about it. And it's just because they're either not out of the box yet or, wasn't really didn't seem like a lot of could be said about it. Anyway, let's get to it. Always start with picks of the week. Picks of the week are this week something that are two kind of different things. First thing is the 1975. It's Being Funny in a Foreign Language. This comes to us through the Dirty Hit label. This is their 5th studio album. They brought in Jack Antonoff to help co-produce this with them to try to give them a more concise, different kind of approach to things. And usually with him, he has produced some of the people that have the greatest successes. So, the 1975, they've established themselves as one of the defining bands of the generation with their very distinctive aesthetic. They have a very ardent fan base behind them, and they have a very unique sonic approach to the way that they do music. Now, this is a very meaningful pop-focused album this time around, and it's a little cliche, but it's an album all about love. But, it's like snapshots of a millennial life, and it's real interesting because usually they have a lot of irony and they're very bombastic, but they've kind of toned it back for this one. So you'll find it's different, but it's still really good, and you can get this on clear vinyl, or the indie exclusive is white. And yes, they do tell you on the sticker what the hell is going on, which we always like that. So, all right, so pick number 2, also something kind of different. This is Planes, and this is I Walked With You Always, and this is on the Anti-Records label. This is the duo that is Waxahachie's Katie Crutchfield and Jess Williamson, singer-songwriter that you may be on your radar. Anyway, these two they've known each other. They have a mutual respect for each other's music. They traded albums in 2020 and decided that maybe it would be nice to have a project and try something really completely different. So this is kind of their take on, country music, and it reflects a different side of their creative inspirations. Okay, so they kind of, this album sort of nods to things like Waylon Jennings and Willie Nelson, the Judds, the Chicks, that kind of stuff. Okay, so they really have a dual thing between them. Katie Crutchfield, she has a very sharp, honest edge of truth-telling, and it pairs really well with Jess Williamson, who has a more softer side and a more kind of ethereal way of looking at things. So, interesting record, completely different thing. It's a one-off project. It's not like they're going to continue to do things together over and over again, but, it's just kind of an interesting look at growth between these artists. So, this one also comes on black or pink vinyl, and I'm wondering if these stickers are telling us. Well, this one, the pink is got this sticker that says colored vinyl, but trust me, it's pink, okay? All right, so now let's get through all the rest of this stuff, and there is a fuck ton of it, so we need to go fast. Okay, 45 Grave, Sleep and Safety. This is a reissue through Real Gone Music. It's the first studio album that originally released in 1983. It sounds like a mixture of punk rock, post-punk, surf pop, art pop, new wave, gothic. It's all in there, okay? So death rock never sounded so varied and technically accomplished and just plain fun. This one is on purple with black streaks vinyl. Next up, we have the Allman Brothers, live from A&R Studios in New York, 1971, and this is on the Allman Brothers Band Recording Company label, blah, blah, blah. All right, so this was recorded in a studio with a very small audience for an intimate setting, warmer sound than things of Live at Fillmore East, and it was recorded, it was initially a radio broadcast that aired on WPLJ, which led to it being bootlegged like constantly. And you know how bootlegs are, the sound is never going to be all that great. So anyway, it's since been remixed from the original multi-track recording for a much more satisfying sonic experience for you. The performance is captured roughly 2 months before the untimely death of the founding member, Duane Allman. So 2 LPs on pink vinyl. Next up, this is Alter Bridge, Pawns and Kings. This is on Napalm Records, 7th studio album. It's the chance to get your hands on a new Alter Bridge album, then being surprised by anything you hear on here is like slim to none. It's more of the same. That's what they do. This is a band that knows what they do it well, they know how to do it, and then they seem content to just deliver that every few years. And it's nothing new by this band's standards, but these types of songs are difficult to get right. And the fact that they're able to keep you like interested and engaged this deep into their career without really deviating from the core of what they've always done is kind of kind of shows what their caliber is. And this has gone yellow vinyl. All right, next up, this one is, what in the hell is it? Arm's Length. Everything Nice and What's Mine Is Yours. Those are like 2 EPs together on this LP, and this is through Wax Bodega. So it's an emo 3-piece. Was formed in 2019. Canadian. They're Canadian. Town is like Belleville. And that's in Ontario. Okay, so they were all best friends and began writing music together, and after meeting at a Halloween party in 2015. So it seemed like that was, these guys are like into that open tuning, slinging guitar playing. Then, so, you know, they kind of all fit together in this way. They're setting out to create a new like indie-infused emo sound with shades of punk pop, and Arm's Length has made a huge waves in the scene with their release of these first 2 EPs, and it includes nice coverage from Pitchfork, NPR, and more. So check them out. This is on pink vinyl, and nowhere on here does it indicate that. So you just have to take my word for it. Okay. Next up, this is Ash, and this is called Ray on Mom and Pop. This is her second record, Ashlyn Ray Wilson. She's known as Ash. She's an American singer-songwriter. She's known for her 2019 single called Moral of the Story. It appeared in this Netflix film, To All the Boys, P.S. I Love You. So anyway, she's ready to unlock a new era in her music. She's ready to push herself. Her past self, put her to bed and awaken this new, more sultry artist. You can see her image has changed a little. Anyway, this is like electro pop, indie folk, and blues, and it's on grape and white splatter vinyl, or a gray cassette, or the CD. Oops, sorry. Okay. And again, nowhere on here does it indicate the color, I don't think. Wait, it does. Wait. It's got a poster in here too, and it does say purple splatter vinyl right there. Yay. Okay. Okay, and this is Iggy Azalea, End of an Era. This is on Bad Dreams Records, and this is the 3rd studio album from Australian rapper Iggy Azalea. You know, she had like kind of a real meteoric rise in the last decade. She drops this 3rd and possibly her final album, signifying a time to potentially take a step back from music. She doesn't go out with a bang, but with the Stardust hits like Brazil and I Am the Strip Club, Sex on the Beach featuring Sophia Scott, this 14-track album is filled with, you know, her usual kind of bangers and returning to the sound of her mixtape roots. This is on red, purple, and blue vinyl. All right, next up we have Bad Sons, Disappear Here through Vagrant Records. This is their 2nd studio album, and let me see, I'm not sure when it was first released. This is a reissue. They got the title of this and a lot of inspiration for Disappear Here from that Bret Easton Ellis novel, Less Than Zero. And as with most of Bad Son's music, we see a lot of heavy inspiration from the 70s and 80s, with this being their most apparent of their early works. Disappear Here, it's kind of an upbeat indie rock pop album that gets pretty dark when you pay attention to the lyrics, but there's some really good dance songs on this piece, and every track manages to stay pretty unique. While I do find some of the slower songs to be a bit weaker, I do love that heavy 80s influence of this record as a whole. That one's just on your basic black vinyl. Okay, this is David Bowie Heroes, believe it or not, the 45th anniversary of this on Parlophone, originally released in October of 1977, and actually technically October 14th, just how apt, right? So this is his 12th studio album. It celebrates this 45th anniversary. Parlophone is proud to announce this special limited edition bricks and mortar outlet only gray vinyl, and that'd be us, so we got the gray vinyl. It's the 12th studio album by David Bowie, released through RCA Records initially. After releasing Low earlier that year, Bowie toured as the keyboardist and singer friend with his friend and singer Iggy Pop. At the conclusion of that tour, they recorded Iggy Pop's second solo album, Lust for Life, at Hansa Ton Studio in West Berlin before Bowie regrouped there with collaborator Brian Eno and producer Tony Visconti to record Heroes. It was the second installment of his Berlin trilogy, following Low and preceding The Lodger in 1979. So of these three albums, it was the only one that was wholly recorded in Berlin. Much of the same personnel from Low returned for the sessions, augmented by King Crimson guitarist Robert Fripp. Okay, this is Cage Fight, self-titled, on Candlelight, that label. You've probably heard records like this before, but it definitely, would be a mistake to skip Cage Fight if you like this kind of gripping, furious hardcore. This was really, made with a lot of passion. It's plenty to say. They're all delivered here with this bracing conviction, both musical and otherwise. So the quality of what's on offer here should, surely send this band far beyond the confines of where they're from in the UK. Anyway, this is on black and red vinyl, and give them a try. Okay, next up, this is Can, live in Cuxhaven, 1976. This is through Mute. It's the third in a series of Can concerts available for the first time on vinyl, CD, and digital formats, actually. It was originally recorded on tape. These carefully restored live albums will comprise the entirety of each show in the format of a story with a beginning, a middle, and an end, with Can's performances taking on a life of their own. The band's lineup for the legendary 1976 performance features all four original members. Can's powerful influence is never diminished, and their indelible mark is apparent in the bands who freely acknowledge their importance, from people like Portishead, James Murphy, Sonic Youth, New Order, Public Image, Madlib, Radiohead, as well as across other disciplines such visual art and literature. They're a very inspiring kind of thing. So anyway, first time on vinyl. Interesting. This is John Carpenter, Firestarter, original soundtrack on Sacred Bones. Horror master John Carpenter back with his Halloween franchise collaborators for this new sound to the 2022 adaptation of Stephen King's Firestarter. Now, this marks the first official soundtrack that the team has composed together outside of the Halloween franchise. And their inspiration and evolution as a creative team is on full display here. Film is like a new take on the thriller that, is the girl that has these pyrotechnic powers and to fight to protect her family, blah, blah, blah. The story. The tracks range from kind of fist-pumping sci-fi anthems to slow reverb, drenched piano ballads, and each of those things utilizes a variety of sonic applications. These three musicians are all working at the peak of their individual and collaborative creativity. This soundtrack further solidifies them as masters of the craft. This is on yellow and bone-colored vinyl or cassette. Okay? Okay, this is Ken Carson. It's called X. This is through Opium, through Interscope. He's a rising Atlanta rapper. Very hotly anticipated major label debut here. The 20-track opus includes the emotional single, The End. So on the spot on X, this album here, the spotlight stays on Carson, with only features coming from his Opium label mates Destroy, Lonely, and Homicide Gang. This breakout rapper is coming off the success of his 2021 mixtape that was called Project X. It's a hedonistic trip that embodies the spirit of youthful nihilism. It's available on white vinyl, and I don't believe it signals that for you, but white it is, okay? This is Cerebral Shoal and A Farewell to High Tide. Psychic Hotline is this label. This is a long out-of-print sophomore album by the pioneering creative restless troupe called Cerebral Shoal. Highlights this earliest phase of their transition from experimental hardcore band to a transcendent exploratory collective. Originally released in 1996, it combined the group's unique command of patient anticipation with significantly expanded musical palette and refined musicianship. So it's the expanded deluxe edition here includes the Lighthouse in Athens EP recorded during the same era as Farewell to High Tide. It's finally available, first time on vinyl ever. And Farewell to High Tide, the deluxe expanded edition here, is packaged in restored artwork with newly uncovered photos and extensive new liner notes written by the band. The records have been newly mastered for vinyl and pressed onto audiophile grade sky blue vinyl. And let me see, does it tell us that? Yes, it just says colored vinyl here, special limited edition, but it is sky blue, all right? All right, this is Lucretia Dalt. This is called A. I mean, it's like, I think that's how you say it. It's exclamation point AY, exclamation point. Anyway, this is on Roving International. Here, she channels the sensory echoes of growing up in Colombia on her new album, where the sound and syncopation of tropical music encounter adventurous impulse, lush instrumentation, and metaphysical sci-fi meditations in an exclamation of delight. In sound and spirit, I is an exploration of a native place and environmental tuning where Dalt reverses the spell of temporal containment. Now that's a mouthful. That's like their company blurb about this. But anyway, through the spiraling tendencies of time and topography, Lucretia has arrived where she began. So this is like, trippy chick stuff. Interesting. On red vinyl. Does it tell us that? Yes, it does say limited edition translucent red vinyl here. So you will be able to find that easily. Okay, as we know, all the Christmas stuff is going to come rolling in. Love it or hate it, it's all doing it. So I think we had Dolly Parton last week. Now we have Charlie Daniels, Christmas Memories with Charlie Daniels on Blue Hat Records. So for the first time ever, some of Charlie Daniels' most treasured classic Christmas recordings now released together in an exclusive limited vinyl edition. Christmas was Charlie's favorite time of year, and he always enjoyed playing these songs live during his annual Christmas shows. Now you can listen to them on this limited 180-gram special Christmas green vinyl. And it does say green right there. So, all right. Next, I wish we had a lot of time to just talk about this great album, but it's a reissue. It's Mac DeMarco 2. It's the 10th anniversary of this through Captured Tracks. So it's on 2 LPs. It contains both 2 and 2 demos with an 8-page booklet containing new liner notes written by Mac. This is a fabulous record. We love Mac DeMarco, but as it's a reissue, y'all probably already know the whole story on that, so we're going to keep it pushing, okay? This is Manu Dia, often Inside on Young Art Records. This is a Spanish producer. He presents his latest release, Often Inside. It includes the new song Tuesday Morning, featuring Lizzie Land, and a luscious blend of pop and electronica. It's pressed on orange vinyl. That's here for you now. Doesn't say anywhere that it's on orange vinyl either. Damn it, we're not doing good with the information on the stickers this week, are we? Okay, this is Disc, Desperately Imagining Someplace Quiet on Through Saddle Creek. We already talked about them with the cassette, I think, last week. They just jump genres and styles a little too quick to ever develop kind of true cohesion on this. It kind of distracts the listener a bit, because when you isolate your listening experience to several tracks, it's like they really shine. But as a whole piece, it's not that cohesive. Anyway, this is on half green and half blue vinyl, and I think it's telling you that here. You just have to be very, bring your reading glasses to see that on the sticker. Okay. Then we have Dr. John, Things Happen That Way, on Rounder. Throughout his 6-decade-long career, he's embodied a near mythic multitude of musical identities. Okay, so he's been like global ambassador of New Orleans funk and jazz, an R&B visionary, a bluesman, rock and roll innovator, and massively revered high priest of psychedelic voodoo. Things Happen That Way, his final studio album, adds another dimension to his musicality, a lifelong affinity for, believe it or not, country and western. It's a glorious farewell to one of the most essential figures in music history. And this is on black or green plus a black 7-inch vinyl. So this one is just the black vinyl, and then this one shows you it's the limited edition, and it Garden District green vinyl plus a bonus 7-inch. And the bonus 7-inch is on black, so you're not getting green for both, all right? This is the early November. It's called 20. This is on Pure Noise Records. American rock band from New Jersey, formed in 2001. This features tracks written across their 20-year career. Many of them are B-sides to older songs. It's the album, that captures the moments of their 20-year career perfectly. A lot of these songs were originally B-sides from over the years. Some of are the strongest songs that they've written, but simply just didn't fit on another album. It almost feels like they were saved now for this release. So it's on pink and white vinyl. Next up, this is Brian Eno, Forever and Ever No More. This is through Verve, and it's the 22nd solo studio album from Brian Eno. Can you even believe that? Wow. And the first since 2017's Reflection. So this was recorded and produced by him at a studio in West London, and sees Brian Eno singing on the majority of the tracks. It's a very sonically beguiling, ultimately optimistic exploration of the narrowing, precarious future of humanity on our planet. Sounds about right for him, yeah? As Eno himself concludes, briefly, we need to fall in love again, but this time with nature, with civilization, and with our hopes for the future. So it's got some kind of heavy subject matter here, but it is ultimately, hopeful, all right? This one, Fleetwood Mac. This is through Rhino Warner Brothers. It's their 10th studio album. It was originally released in July of 1975, and this was the first Fleetwood Mac album with Lindsey Buckingham as guitarist and Stevie Nicks as a vocalist after Bob Welch departed the band in late 1974. So now with 3 strong songwriters in Nicks, Buckingham, and Christine McVie, Fleetwood Mac was their first #1 album 58 weeks after entering the chart. Spawned 3 top 20 singles, Over My Head, Rhiannon, and Say You Love Me, and the last 2 falling just short of the top 10, both at number 11. But anyway, that is 7. It's actually gone platinum 7 times. Whoa. Okay, Vince Guaraldi, Charlie Brown Christmas through Craft Recordings. This is a deluxe 2 LP set of the Charlie Brown Christmas. It features a brand new stereo mix of the classic album, remastered from original 3-track and 2-track sources on record #1. Second record features 13 unreleased outtakes, highlights from 5 sessions of recording material that are really kind of amazing in their own right and show how this iconic score took shape. Housed in a gatefold jacket, the set also features new liner notes from Peanuts historian Derek Bangs. And I am surprised that they didn't put this on colored vinyl, because, they have been reissuing these Vince Guaraldi things, for the holidays on the colored, but that's straight up black double, all right? This is Igloo Host, Neo Wax Bloom on the Brain Feeder label. Debut studio album from a British electronic musician, originally released in 2017. Across its 11 tracks, Igloo Host builds a typical, intense, hysterical, borderline, batshit crazy soundtrack that includes new characters to his fantastical world and inviting back old friends. So, you know, you have to follow the story with this guy. It's on what they're calling clear splatter vinyl. Now, I don't know what in the hell is that. How can you get a splatter out of clear? Okay. It says on the sticker, 140-gram clear vinyl with red, yellow, and blue splatter. And it also includes an MP3 download code. So that explains it. All right. Next up is Jamiroquai, Emergency on Planet Earth, through Legacy Recordings, celebration of the 30 years since the formation of the record-breaking funk soul band Jamiroquai, and their first single, When You Gonna Learn. Sony Music has released this special transparent 180-gram heavyweight double vinyl edition of their groundbreaking 1993 album Emergency on Planet Earth. It's presented here in a gatefold sleeve with spot gloss embellishments and printed inner sleeves, and the insert features JK's 2013 and 2017 liner notes. So I'm guessing, you know, if they have liner notes from 2013 and 2017, there must have been a reissue of this before, but this is your deluxe model. All right, clear vinyl. This is Judah and the Lion. It's called Revival, and it's on Judah and the Lion LLC. It's a collection of songs that speaks to the band's journey back to innocence and hope through reclamation. Recorded in Asheville, North Carolina, record is an attempt to recapture the innocence of their youth, embracing the sadness and loss of the last few years, and welcoming the future with a renewed energy and spirit that harkens back to their earliest days. And that looks to be on just black vinyl. Okay, this is Lice. This is Aesop Rock and Homeboy Sandman. This is through the Rhymesayers label. Okay, so both Aesop Rock and Homeboy Sandman are regarded as top-tier lyricists, for kind of known for pushing the envelope of creativity in their writing, so while covering a wide range of topics and moods. However, sometimes things are inherently simple. For example, the origin of their collaboration here, born of just a mutual appreciation for each other as artists, which became fully realized when Aesop Rock invited Homeboy Sandman to join him on tour in 2015. So traveling together, they built a connection outside of music, resulting in a friendship that led to recording a few songs together. Before they knew it, they had an infestation of lice, this kind of lice. Initially released in 2015 as a free direct download, followed by an extremely limited vinyl pressing sold exclusively on tour. Aesop Rock and Homeboy Sandman's Lice is finally available for fans everywhere. This is the first in a series of EP releases. Lice featured production from DJ Spinna, Optics, Blockhead, Apex, Gale, and Mike Shinoda. The original cover art was designed by the renowned illustrator Jeremy Fish. Okay, so the next one, there's more, is this one is Lice 2 Still Buggin'. Okay, so this is all the same. It's all through Rhymesayers, all illustrated by Jeremy Fish. This second in the series, it features production from Dan Hayden, Mondi, Aesop Rock, Sober Minded Music, and mono and stereo. Okay, so that's your second one. And the third, this one is Triple Fat Lice. And this one features production from Cohen Beats, Oh No, Ben Boogs, of Two Hungry Brothers, Kel Chris, and M. Slago. All right, so all this stuff is like now available for the first time on vinyl. This is a new Lightning Seeds record. It's called See You in the Stars. This is through BMG Rights Management, the first Lightning Seeds long player since 2009's Four Winds. So anyway, this is a 10-track collection. It's like a soundtrack to summer with a feel-good warmth of sunshine. The single, most of the songs are written by Ian Brody. One of the album highlights, Emily Smiles, was co-written with Terry Hall of Funboy 3, while Great to Be Alive is co-written with James Skelly of The Coral. There's no black vinyl. The standard vinyl is forest green, and the indie exclusive is midnight blue smoky vinyl. And this one right here is telling you that that is the midnight smoky right there. Okay, then we have Reba McEntire, My Chains Are Gone. This is through MCA Nashville. It's a collection of hymns and gospel favorites. 12 tracks. The album, it's, let me see here. She's singing the songs of faith and hope combined with 4 brand new selections. Okay, I think in 2017, she had an award-winning album called Sing It Now, Songs of Faith and Hope. So that's this, but it's combined with 4 brand new selections, included as The Lord's Prayer, Because He Lives. The vinyl will include this acoustic version of Back to God featuring Lauren Daigle. Also included is a special Bible bookmark as an added value for fans. Okay, there you go. Next up, this is Mightmare, Cruel Liars. This is on Kill Rock Stars. Sarah Snook's new solo project. It features a way to roll the sounds we couldn't live without into response to the things we couldn't live with, confronting habits and the rules they live by in the process. Loved for their work in Sarah Shook and the Disarmers, Shook's Cruel Liars bring crispy clean country twanged vocals to the table, alongside the furiously urgent need to express themselves. The record marks the process of finding meaning in spaces outside of gender or drinking or protocol, and slingshots itself towards something both conceptually remarkable and a simply exhilarating embodied knockout. This is on black vinyl, and yes, Sarah Shook, there they are. All right, this is Missing Persons, Spring Session M. It's through Rebellion Remasters. Formed in 1980, the core trio of Dale and Terry Bozzio, along with Warren Cucurullo. Missing Persons fit perfectly into the new wave movement. With her quirky singing style and colorful homemade attire put together from various forms of plastic, along with anything else that captured her interest, Dale Bozzio kind of created an influential and unique image that was ear and eye candy. So released in late 1982, the full-length debut album, Spring Session M, it's an anagram for the band's name, actually. It became an instant hit with MTV staples such as Words and Destination Unknown, eventually achieving gold status. So this 40th anniversary vinyl issue here is presented in a red and purple mix vinyl. And it does say that for you here, too. Okay, this is Muni Long. This is Public Displays of Affection on Def Jam. It's a soundtrack of intimacy that seemed to offer an answer. You let love lead. She says that she's a lover and she prefers to be kind. She believes in fairy tales. So anyway, the reason that she worked through this is because she thought that love was kind of absent in R&B. So for this breakthrough project, she wanted to mimic the ebb and flows of relationships, dipping and diving between moods and sounds, which is real because love can be tumultuous too. All right. This one is Novo Amor. This is Woodgate, New York. All Points label, second EP from Novo Amor. It was originally released in 2016. Multi-instrumentalist producer behind Novo Amor is Ali Lacey. It's a Welsh-born songwriter. Beautifully self-produced record here comprised of 4 powerful songs that conjure up images of fragility and a depth of beauty inspired by a first love. Well-composed pieces of music here are recorded between a converted barn in the Lake District and a makeshift studio within his Welsh home. Features from Gold, Weather, Cold, and Holland. So that one available now. All right, this is Oh Wonder 22 Make on Republic. It's the second half of alt pop duo Oh Wonder's 2021 album 22 Break. Does that make sense? You got that? Through powerful and intimate music, 22 Break unpicked a turbulent period in their story using universal themes of loneliness, inadequacy, resentment, and fear of the future experienced by a couple in real time during the pandemic. So coming out of 22 Break and Soul Searching, it forced the duo to really finish up with that soul searching. And anyway, they married and they created 22 Make. That soundtrack's the light at the end of the tunnel, or a tunnel that completes the dual project. This also limited edition vinyl pressing, but it does say it's just 140 gram black vinyl. So, all right. This is an RSD Essential, Roy Orbison, King of Hearts through Sony Music Legacy, in celebration of the 30th anniversary of its initial release, posthumous Roy Orbison album, lovingly assembled by his friends and family after his death, reissued and available as a limited edition LP pressed on red vinyl. The new edition of King and Hearts has been completely remastered and is offered by Roy Boys LLC, the Nashville-based company founded by the late Icon's sons, to administer their father's catalog and safeguard his legacy in partnership with Sony Music's Legacy Recordings. Okay. Here is POD, When Angels and Serpents Dance, through the Mascot label. They're proud to announce the highly anticipated reissue of POD's hit album, When Angels and Serpents Dance, originally released in 2008. Debuted at number 9 on the Billboard 200, selling over 34,000 copies in its first week and well over 200,000 copies through its initial cycle. So this reissue is available on brand new limited edition 2LP. All the tracks on this reissue have been remixed and remastered, and includes 3 bonus tracks that weren't on the original product run. This is on double gold vinyl, and that is indicated here on the sticker as well. Okay, this is Panther de Prince, Garden Gaia, on Modern Recordings. It's their 6th album. It's part of his ongoing exploration into the theme of humans as nature, a theme previously explored on his records Elements of Light and 2020's Conference of Trees. So this is the latest full-length release for the electronic producer Panther de Prince. Features live instruments as well as field recordings, okay? That looks to be black vinyl too. This is Peruvu, 390 Degrees of Simulated Stereo, volume 2.1 on Fire Records. Is that upside down? No, that's okay. Now, this is the new pressing, 1,000 copies on black vinyl with a download. Originally released on vinyl in 1981, long lost, simply, breathtaking live Ubu classic culled from the 1981 recordings in Cleveland, London, and Brussels, featuring the band's original lineup, an essential pressing for all fans of the celebrated post-punk innovators. Yeah, now Peruvu, they're like a hard pill to swallow. It's a little bit on the atonal side. In fact, many years ago, we used to play Peruvu music in the store when we were trying to close to get people to leave. And it did. It cleared the deck. So that's an acquired taste. This is Promise Ring, Nothing Feels, on Jade Tree. Nothing Feels Good. I guess, yeah, sorry, man. Nothing Feels Good is what it is. The second album from American rock band Promise Ring. The album's gained a cult following, frequently regarded as one of the most influential records of the emo genre. It's a landmark sophomore album. It retains that freewheeling spirit its members, then in their early 20s, imbued it with. Listening to it isn't about being transported back in their time of their youth, or yours for that matter. It's about encapsulating all the frenetic, nervous joy that comes with new adulthood. And this is on blue and white vinyl. And it just says Anniversary Colored Edition, but it's blue and white. Okay, next up, Chuck Prophet, Bobby Fuller Died for Your Sins. This is on Yep Rock, and since his neo-psychedelic green on red days, he's been turning out country folk and blues music. He calls this California noir, and it's the state is always of California. It's always represented the golden dream, and it's the tension between romance and reality that lurks underneath the surface in like noir films and paperbacks that connects these songs. Doomed Love, Inconsolable Loneliness, Rags to Riches to Rags Again, and the fast-paced violence that are always on the menu on the left coast. So this is on what they call cloudy red, well, let me see, limited edition red marble vinyl. Okay, so red marble, I think the list says cloudy red, but it's red marble. Okay, this is PVA. It's called Blush. And following the success of their Grammy-nominated 2020 EP Toner, Post-punk London trio PVA released a stunning debut album, Blush, and it's on the standard edition pink or limited edition blue. And this will tell you here whether it's the pink or the blue on the sticker. Okay, this one is probably something people have really been waiting for, and they always have to go through so many variants. I don't know why they keep doing this, but it's Red Hot Chili Peppers' Return of the Dream Canteen on Warner Records. It's their 13th studio album by this American rock band. It's their second album of the year, though. After taking 6 years between its last two albums, Red Hot Chili Peppers have now taken 6 months between the latest pair. So after topping the Billboard 200 with Unlimited Love in April, they now bring Return of the Dream Canteen, recorded during the same session with producer Rick Rubin. Now, there's many ways that you can get this. It's on, okay, here we go. There's a cassette. It's a pink one. And there is black, regular black vinyl or gold vinyl or black plus poster. And let's see, this one, it just says 2 LPs, so that's probably the black vinyl. Yeah, this one is the gatefold sleeve, includes an exclusive poster. So you're gonna have to, they all look alike. You're just gonna have to read the things. And this is the limited edition exclusive cover on 2 gold vinyl LPs. So those are all nicely stickered so you can tell which one you're trying to purchase. And I think they did the same thing with the last record. There were just all these variants. But anyway, that's fine. This is Rotting Christ, a Dead Poem. Peaceville is the label. It's the 4th full-length album by this Greek extreme metal band, originally released in 1997. So they've slowed down their tempos significantly and added the occasional usage of acoustic guitars and regional music, making this a particular record one of their more mainstream of releases and the farthest removed from the black metal styles. All right, but even so, the cover art still looks, pretty death metal. But I think you'll be surprised. This is Satan's Pilgrims, Go Action on High Tide, and Satan's Pilgrims returns with 14 action-packed instrumentals on the band's High Tide debut, paying tribute to recently passed guitarist and founding member Dave Busacker. Go Action features all the jangly guitars and dance beats and spine-chilling fun that thrilled fans for over 3 decades. This is limited pressing on metallic gold swirl vinyl, and that is indicated also on the sticker. Yes. Okay, now this is like 3 reissues of Senses Fail. These are all through Vagrant Records. And the first one here is Follow Your Bliss, the best of. Now this is a compilation album originally released in 2012. So while the compilation gathers songs from their 4 studio albums, what's really going to draw people into this are the little extras. So fans of the band are definitely going to want to dig into the album liner notes, which feature commentary from all of the band members about every song in the set. So interestingly, former members Heath Sarceno, Mike Glitta, and Garrett Zablocki lend their voices on the commentary to give some perspective to the older material, while the newer members like Zach Roach provide anecdotes about hearing these songs for the first time as a fan and then as a member of the band. So this kind of insight is something that you just don't get with a lot of compilations like this, but fortunately the booklet isn't the only thing that the set has to offer. And this is on blue vinyl, and it does say limited vinyl color, but anyway, it's blue, but it doesn't tell you that it's blue. All right, the next one is Still Searching, and this is the 2nd studio album. So a month after the release of their debut studio album, Let It Enfold You, the band had enough material for their next album. So they're trying to continue carrying a standard that their previous album set, but it's not as enjoyable or memorable as Let It Enfold You, but I think it's still a pleasant listen for the genre. 2 LPs on deluxe magenta vinyl, and that also just says limited color, but it's magenta. And then they have The Fire. This is the 4th studio album. It was originally released in 2010. They once again proved themselves to be one of the most consistent heavy hitters of that post-hardcore world. It's like the album's namesake. The Fire starts with a small spark and quickly builds itself into this emotional blaze. It burns steadily across 11 tracks, taking you on an exceptional musical ride. It's on transparent orange and green vinyl. Yeah. Okay, then this, More Christmas, this is Shakin Stevens, Merry Christmas Everyone, through BMG Rights Management. Now, Shakin Stevens is one of the most popular singers in the 80s, and kind of cheesy stuff, kind of Cliff Richard, kind of maybe a little more like rock than that, but you know, that kind of thing. And the song Merry Christmas Everyone gave him a huge hit in December of 1985, but this 1991 album contains 4 Christmas hits. It has Merry Christmas Everyone on it, The Best Christmas of Them All, Blue Christmas, and I'll Be Home This Christmas. It also includes 2 classic covers and 4 festive originals. It's pressed on red and white marble vinyl. Now, this interesting thing about this was that this was going to be released in 1984, but they were going to be competing with Live Aid, Band Aid, Do They Know It's Christmas? So they actually held on to this song for an entire year because you can't, you know, you're not going to be able to compete for a big charity single like that with all of those, you know, guest singers and musicians. That was kind of a smart move because then this turned into a #1 for him in '85. So well played, Shakin Stevens. All right. This is Skull Crusher, Quiet the Room, through Secretly Canadian. This is Helen Ballantyne's first full-length album, Quiet the Rooms. It's the sound of a window opening and a barrier dissolving. So across these 14 tracks, the outside world seeps in and the inside world crawls out. The result is a stunning, very quietly moving work that reflects the journeys we take through the physical and spiritual realms of ourselves in order to show up for the world. So what you may not expect is an album full of ambient, dreamy folk, almost these light arrangements that don't so much crush your skull as like massage it until you're lulled into a state of bliss. So yeah, that's a Skull Crusher. It's kind of a hardcore name she's got going there, but it's more of an ambient record. Okay, then we have Sleeping with Sirens, Complete Collapse. This is through Sumerian. It's the 6th studio album from post-hardcore Trailblazers, Sleeping with Sirens, in good company with features from Under Oath's Spencer Chamberlain and Royal and the Serpent, Dorothy and Charlotte Sands. The band calls its release their hardest-hitting album to date. This comes on Easter Yellow, Translucent Orange Galaxy vinyl, and that does say it right there on the sticker for us. All right, this is Snarky Puppy. There's a difference. There is a Skinny Puppy, but this one is Snarky Puppy. And it's called Empire Central. It's 3 LPs, and it's Ground Up Music LLC. 16 tracks on this. They're a Dallas Jazz Fusion Ensemble. It was recorded over 8 performances at the Deep Ellum Art Company and features the late Bernard Wright. Snarky Puppy is a kind of a genre-defying band, super band, actually, a lot like Dallas, the city of its birth. On Empire Central, the eclectic 19-piece ensemble is big and bold, chill and laid back, rooted in its native culture while reaching outward, forward bound. So it showcases this group's long-standing knack for crafting really groove-based instrumental tracks, but they have a lot of hooky melodies and sophisticated arrangements and exploratory improvisations. Much of the album evokes the infectious 70s fusion of bands like Weather Report and the Brecker Brothers, but it's also incredibly funky. And it's, black vinyl, but three pieces. Mm-hmm. All right, this one is Sun Little. It's Like Neptune. It's on the Anti Records label. Okay. Born Aaron Livingston, Grammy Award-winning Sun Little unleashes his album, I love when they say that, Little Neptune, never sounding stronger or more confident than now, showcasing his original vision of R&B, informed by his love for hip-hop imbued with tinges of funk, pop, and psychedelia. So while his collaborations with The Roots and RJD2 had already helped to make a name for himself by that point, in his adopted hometown of Philadelphia, critics on both sides of the pond were quick to recognize the unique power of Little's solo recordings, which stripped the past for parts that he could be kind of reconstituting into something wholly new and original. So NPR has hailed Little's impeccably crafted songs as honest and unpretentious, while The Independent proclaimed him a formidable talent. So Vice says that he's dissolving the barrier between R&B and rock, one tearjerker at a time. All right. And that is also just on basic black vinyl. Okay. Here's something fun for you. This is the Stooges Funhouse through Elektra. This is the second studio album by American rock band Stooges, originally released in 1970 by Elektra. Though initially commercially unsuccessful, Funhouse developed a very strong cult following. Some might say that, Velvet Underground's Sonic Assault on White Light, White Heat was like the first proto-punk album, but you could make a case either way. This one, kind of says it all. But while the Velvets, their second album certainly captures the sound of that electric kind of mayhem, Funhouse takes the raw energy and channels it into maximum effect. There's like a cool story that Henry Rollins tells about this. He's such a big Iggy Pop fan, but he says he was working at this construction site all by himself, doing busy work, moving 2x4s from one side of the slab to the other. So the first 100 were stacked very nicely. He popped in his Funhouse tape in the blaster, and by the time TVI had run its course, there's 2x4s in the street, in the dumpster, and on the roof of the unfinished garage. So not a very pretty picture, but it sure was fun. I think that is a great way to describe this. It's on red and black split vinyl and here for us now. So yeah, very great. Rolling Stone calls this one of 500 greatest albums of all time. I concur. All right, so then we have Surprise Chef, education and recreation on Big Crown, hailing from Melbourne, Australia. Surprise Chef's music is based on evoking mood. Their vivid arrangements utilize time and space to build soundscapes that invite the listener into their world. The quintet's distinct sound pulls from 70s film scores, the funkier side of jazz, and samples from that foundation of hip hop. And this is on red vinyl, and yeah, it just says clear red colored vinyl right there. Okay, next up, this is for the Rocktober series that's out. This is a reissue of Television, Marquee Moon through Rhino, one of the greatest guitar bands of all time. Widely considered one of rock's great debuts, Marquee Moon was Television's paean to garage rock done in revolutionary style. Television were part of the late 70s punk nucleus that put New York CBGBs on the club on the map. So it was driven by Tom Verlaine's raw nerve songwriting and both his and Richard Lloyd's guitar playing, the dual strands of slashing hooks and riffs, and their music is spare yet structurally complex, yet artistic and unpretentious all at the same time. So it's among rock's true innovators. Television put a new face of punk and influenced everything from new wave to jam rock. This is on clear vinyl, and yes, grab that one. What a beauty. Okay, this is Cal Tjader, Mongo Santa Maria, a Latino con Cal Tjader. Okay, Honey Pie is the label. So we have the esteemed vibraphonist Cal Tjader here, lending 5 different all-star combos featuring, among others, Latin groove masters Willie Bobo on drums, conga player Mongo Santa Maria. It's a feast of rhythm based on torrid versions of classic tunes like Night in Tunisia and a definitive version of Santa Maria's Afro Blue. So this is like Latin jazz at its best. It's on black vinyl, and pretty interesting piece there too. All right, this is Totally Enormous Extinct Dinosaurs, When the Lights Go. It's on the Ice Age label. So his first album since 2012's critically acclaimed Trouble. New album marks a departure in sound, defined, of course, by the events of the last few years, like everybody else. So encompassing songwriting, ballads, and a pop-centered aesthetic, it's full of deep feeling, storytelling, woe, presented in a compelling manner, as only he can. When Lights Go is a substantial body of work containing 17 tracks, representative of the duration between albums. When Lights Go Out marks a shift into the pop domain. Orlando's vocals take center stage with arrangements that complement the sadness in the songwriting, and this is on red marbled vinyl. Okay, next up, this is Tourist Inside Out, William Phillips is a Grammy Award-winning pop remixer and songwriter who's worked alongside The Weeknd, Wolf Alice, Christine and the Queens, and Sam Smith. You might say he's kind of a big deal. So anyway, away from the glitz of Phillips' solo work under his tourist moniker, it allows him the space to kind of luxuriate without too much thought on function. It's euphoria. It's tinged with melancholia, but the album was written in the wake of a sudden death of a close friend. So much of Inside Out has like a contemplative feel to it. At times it's very dim and murky, but it's also very bright and it has an epiphany. So that's his story. Okay, this is various artists, Shapes of Spectrum, on the True Thoughts label. So this features essential album tracks and innovative reworks of all exclusively on vinyl for the first time. It follows the digital release of latest adaptations to the True Thoughts series of an essential label compilations curated by A&R founder, renowned DJ Robert Lewis. So after 23 years of independently releasing music, the Shapes LPs celebrate the best of the Brighton-based label's wide-ranging and international roster. It will be a limited edition, hand-numbered run of 500 here, with special artwork from Solar Collage, plus a download card of the full digital album. So a lot of like cool stuff on there that hasn't been available before. Okay, this is Paul Weller, Modern Classics, The Greatest Hits through Island, originally released in 1998 and unavailable on vinyl until now. It's a compilation album that features most of Paul Weller's solo singles from 1991 to 1998. 2 LP set comes in a gatefold sleeve and includes a live recorded at Victoria Park, London set in August of 1998. I wish we could talk about that more, but we're hitting our 55-minute mark here, so let's move. This is Wild Pink Islam, Royal Mountain Records follow-up to 2021's A Billion Little Lights. Very critically acclaimed effort, praised by the likes of Pitchfork, NPR, Stereo Gum, who named it one of the prettiest rock records of the past decade. Islam is a beautiful album dealing with love, loss, life, cancer, death, healing, and more. It's immediately emotive while retaining a sense of excitement and lightness. It comes ahead of the US, EU, and UK headline dates on yellow vinyl. And it does say that on the sticker. This is Johnny Winter, Third Degree on Alligator label. The title on vinyl for the first time in 30 years. So it features fan favorites like Mojo Boogie, Evil on My Mind, Shake Your Moneymaker. On 3 tracks, Johnny reunites with the rhythm section from his first 3 albums, Uncle John Red Turner and Tommy Shannon from Stevie Ray Vaughan's Double Trouble, and 2 more feature special guests Dr. John Rebenak on piano. So anyway, all tracks remastered. This is on 140-gram black vinyl. And last, you guys, that's it. So thank you for hanging in there. I hope you found something interesting for yourselves. Try something new this week, and I will see you next time.